Hi, I'm Madeline. I am nearly 26 years old. I started getting CFS when I was at university, when I was 21. I had quite a few things going on in my life at the time, as well as being at university. I had a couple of family members who weren't that well, and I was really worried about them and things, and had to keep going home to try and help sort things out. And basically I was getting really, really tired, and I was getting ill at the same time. But because of the situation, I kind of carried on with my life because I didn't want to miss out on anything at university and everything. So I kept going to the doctor, like trying to find out what could have been wrong with me at the time. And I had loads of blood tests and everything. I was basically feeling, at that point, that was before the CFS was diagnosed, but this was just sort of building up to it. I had like really bad dizziness and kind of like feeling sick a lot of the time and just getting exhausted and everything. And I kept having blood tests, and they basically were saying like, we can't find anything, you know, there's nothing wrong and everything. So at that point I was kind of like, well, there clearly is something wrong, I don't feel right, you know. So, but because there was no explanation for it, you kind of have to carry on, and you have to just kind of think, well, actually, maybe, you know, that I'm just kind of making a mountain out of nothing, like, or something. So I carried on, finished university, and managed to get my degree, which was quite a major thing at the time, I think. And then I worked for a year after that in a job where I was standing up like all the time and sort of like already really tired, but like getting quite sort of stressed as well, and also with things still going on at home and everything else. And then I went to a private doctor and I got some more blood tests done. And yeah, it became quite clear that I'd had virus, something like glandular fever. So at that point I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm actually going to have to just like look after myself a bit better here, because I was also at the time sort of trying to do my job and trying to swim sort of 50 lengths 3 times a week and everything else to kind of compensate for the stress at work and things like that, and just trying to also just have a life outside of the work and everything. So then it basically came to a point about 3 months after that, when I'd been really quite pushing myself quite hard, that I actually just couldn't get out of bed, and it all just came crashing down on me, I think. Just a lot of, I'd been through a lot of emotional stuff, like been pushing myself physically and mentally and stuff, and then I think it just all just sort of caved in on me, and I couldn't get out of bed. And when I did get out of bed, like everyone had to do everything for me. Like I couldn't make any of my own meals, or like at all, like even hardly get myself a drink. So I had like my family like doing everything for me, and then I couldn't really see my friends because I didn't have the energy to talk to them and things. Like, so basically I just had so many different symptoms, like to do with mental functioning, physical things, like when just from being in bed so much, I had like really bad like muscle pains and side pains, and then I couldn't watch the telly, I couldn't read anything, couldn't do anything, just because it was all just too much. I couldn't listen to music, which I love, and I couldn't like I couldn't obviously go out or anything. So this came a point when something kind of had to be done about it, and I tried lots of different therapies. Like, started off with manual lymphatic drainage, which that was to try and sort of somehow get rid of the virus, or sort of make things move better around my body or something. But again, I had like 10 or 12 sessions of that and really didn't feel too much better. I tried probably about 10 different therapies and stuff. Like, Mum kept meeting people and was like, oh, this helped my son or my friend or something. So you think, okay, well, I'll give that a go. Kind of after about the 10th time this happened, I was kind of like, well, actually, maybe it is just time. People kept saying it's just time, and that's what's going to help at the end of the day. But I kind of thought, well, I'm not just going to sit with this. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to kind of like give in to it and stuff, and I don't want it to overtake me. I want to be able to try and like find some way of like getting better or like coping with it and stuff. And that's when Mum bumped into someone else, I can't remember who told her about ASHOC, and then from that point on, things have just like moved forward so much, because like I was made aware of what was actually happening in my body, because he'd had it and everything, which made such a difference, because to be able to totally understand it, I think you can only really have if you've had it, kind of thing. I think people try and make theories about it and everything else, but there's a lot of sort of skepticism about it, and just it's not that clear and everything what's actually going on in your body. So to have someone say to you, this is what's happening, and it's actually quite like a major relief, because you're kind of like it's something that's just so subconscious that you have no idea what's going on, and then with someone saying to you, this is what's happening and this is what you can do to stop it, to make it better, then that was probably the first thing when I actually thought, oh my god, like hang on a minute, you know, something is going to change here, kind of thing. So over a period of time of doing the techniques, and especially I think I started with the meditation basically, and the meditation like helped me so much, because at the beginning I was like not really for me, kind of thing, like but actually doing it just calmed down my whole system, kind of thing, like so much. Like I didn't even know, I wasn't aware of like the stress that was in my body at all. So basically I've been through the mill, and now I just feel totally different to even how I did before I was ill, kind of thing. I just feel like so much happier and more like just so much more, I've got so much more like enthusiasm for things, and just kind of like just being so much more relaxed and able to deal with so many more things than I could before. And now basically like I can go out with my friends and like have a great night and not worry about how I'm going to feel for the next like 3 months or something, you know, because that was a stage when I thought, hey, I'm better, I can go and do these things. But actually I wasn't better, and I did these things and felt horrendous, but now I can actually do these things, having used all these techniques. I can do these things and I can still feel fine afterwards, and it's just so uplifting, and it's just so kind of like, oh my god, I can actually like live my life how I want to live my life, and I can do I can go on like transport for a few hours now and I'm like fine, and I can like I'm helping out in a school reading with little kids, which I absolutely love, and I'm hoping to go and do speech and language therapy next year. So basically, yeah, if you're looking to put this into practice, then I'd say really, really go for it, because yeah, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and you can just basically feel anything in your body, and you can instantly get rid of it and stuff like that. So it's just a really, really positive technique, as opposed to someone just saying to you, you know, things will get better, you know, unlucky kind of thing. So whereas this is actually something that really works. It's worked for everyone, I think, that's tried it, and I think you've just got to really stick with it, even if it's painful at times, because you just think, I'm not going to be able to do this, you know, I haven't got any energy at all, you know, but then you just do it and you feel better, and so you keep doing it, and then you keep building up your strength, and then everything just keeps moving in the right direction, basically. And I don't know any other technique that has the same effect on people with ME or CFS, so I'd say go for it.